to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington football podcast by fans for fans. With your hosts, Jesse Martin.
You want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
John Taylor.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
And Keith Gray.
The King, your majesty.
And now here's your host, Jesse Martin.
What is going on? Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. It is Thursday, September 2nd, and we are here, as always, with my co-hosts, John and Keith. Keith is on a phone call right now, but John, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I called Keith's phone, and now he's sitting here listening to a hold tone. He doesn't know what's going on, and I think it's kind of funny.
That's great. With us, we have a very special guest in the house today, John Wood of the Full Contact WFT podcast. John, thanks for coming on. How you doing, bud?
Doing well, brother. Thanks for the invitation. Like I said, you got me out of a meeting at school, so thanks for being my excuse.
Hey, no
sounds
problem.
like you had detention, is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
We won't say that. This is a family show.
That's right. Really? Oh shit! I'm already out of line.
Yeah, family show. Yeah,
Nobody told me.
Please don't let your kids hear this. You might
I'll
get
be
in trouble.
goddamned. Families cost extra. You want to bring your whole family in here? I'm going to charge them.
You ready?
All
Keith?
right, I'm back.
Hey, Keith, how you doing, man? Back from your phone call?
What a day. Yeah, I'm back. I'm prepared and ready to go.
I swear to God, it sounds like our show originates in like bumfuck Kentucky.
And now Keith is off his phone call and joins us. Keith, how you doing, man?
Good. Glad to be here. Busy day, but I'm here unprepared and ready to go.
Unprepared and ready to go. That's what we like to hear.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, look, we got down to our final 53. There was some oohs and ahs and what the fucks and all the hoopla going on with it. I want to start with our guest, John. What surprised you the most?
Keeping Daryl Roberts over Jimmy Moreland. That I when Jimmy got cut, I was like, what the fuck? I mean, that just surprises me. And you keep a guy like Roberts. I mean, I just that one still stings and sits wrong with me. I don't understand the upside to Roberts versus the upside of Moreland. I mean, the people's corner to me earned a spot on this team, and now I think he just got kind of screwed.
Sure. John?
I do think that Jimmy Moreland getting cut was kind of a screw job, but I read he's gotten signed on the injured reserve. So maybe there's something wrong with him that we aren't really aware of. I'm not sure. Other than that, I really wasn't surprised by much. I think that's league wide. I think I've seen that something like less than 20 guys throughout the entire league have been picked up off of waivers, which tells you that there's a definite divide of who can play and who can't, and then you got number 53 and 52, which I think are Abke and Hopkins, who needs to go. The freaking two teams have no kicker.
That's true.
The Lions have no kicker, and I think the Bears have no kicker.
Yeah, going into the
Neither do
season with
we.
no kicker.
We don't either.
Keith, what about you, man? Anything shocked you?
No, not at all. I mean, other than the fact that our Hall of Fame guys that got cut didn't get picked up by other teams. Imagine that. Like, I mean, this again represents fans that put these guys on pedestals. And I mean, listen, I'm not here saying that their talent is terrible. Everyone was kind of surprised about AGG, and some were surprised about Moreland. And, listen, they got cut. All of them are on the practice squad, basically.
Did Moreland go to practice squad?
He's IR.
Yeah,
because he's IR. But he didn't get picked up by anybody else.
No, he's IR.
So with him, do we retain him, or is he just waived? And
we can.
And I think he will be.
Yeah.
All right.
But then you have people like Steven Montez that got picked up. I mean, that surprised me. Like, somebody wants him, really?
But it's practice squad. So again, it's really not. It's really just, again, he's probably their COVID QB now at this point.
Right.
True.
So
right.
Scout team guy.
Again, there was no major surprises to me. Like I said, Moreland, he's been on the squad. People kind of have touched base with him. And, but if we're looking at it, the term position flex, which I feel has been overused.
God, you're so right about that.
But again, if you're one dimensional.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, nothing shocked me whatsoever. I mean, when we were doing our roster projections, we had Moreland as our last corner on there, and I was surprised maybe a little bit, but I mean, you guys know, we talked about AGG and he was a borderline to us to make the squad anyways. So, and we spoke about it before. It should be either Cam Sims or AGG. They're the same type of player. So nothing shocked me. I mean, obviously you have people that are super upset. Why would you keep Apke over Moreland? We knew they were keeping Apke. I mean, that was,
as much as I hate him.
As long as Rivera's in Washington, Apke's going to have a spot on this team.
Yeah,
that's just truth be told.
He gets his crushes, man. He does get his crushes.
Rivera's like, I mean, Apke's to Rivera like Colt McCoy was to Jay Gruden. I mean, it's just that person. And I mean, I get it. I don't. It just wasn't surprising whatsoever. I mean, you got people all over the radio like, why the fuck would you keep Moreland or Apke over Moreland? It just makes sense. And the motherfucker's fast and he can get down there. I don't necessarily think he's a special teams ace, but
he's like a deuce.
I mean, does fans have a point or have a right to be upset the fact that we released someone like Moreland with experience in the system than over Apke or Daryl Roberts? Keith, I'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. Because, again, what we saw from Apke last season was abysmal. When it came to the defensive side of the ball. So, I mean, I understand the frustration and the anger, but I truly believe that Apke is only on this squad for special teams reasons.
Yeah,
I do not believe that we are going to seeing him play many snaps because we understand gentleman is just terrible.
Now I'll be happy to see him playing snaps if we're up by 40 points.
Sure,
I'll be happy to see him out there then.
Yeah, right.
That was very ambassador-like of you there, Keith. The gentleman no. Terrible.
It's not even the ambassador part. It's the hog farmer part. I gotta choose my words wisely. I can't be Jesse.
Allow me to say to the governing body that the gentleman is just terrible.
I mean, it did sound ambassadorish, but I can't be Jesse. Jesse flies 7 F words in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, when you it's just part of my fucking vocabulary.
It's an adjective that can be used a million ways.
Exactly,
it works
exactly.
But let me ask you this. Moreland, like I brought him up as somebody I was surprised with. If you look at the flip side of that coin, the way St. Just has come on and the way Torrey McTyer came on in training camp and in the preseason.
You kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, and I think that made Jimmy Moreland, who is a one-trick pony, who plays just one position, I think made him
expendable.
Same thing with AGG.
Yeah, I had AGG getting cut. First off, I had Harmon staying over AGG. Well, I was surprised Harmon got cut as soon as he did. Sure. That was just my camp.
He's still out there too.
Again, and I think it's medical reasons as to why he's still sitting out there and why he was cut.
Torrey McTyer is my happy as hell guy who made the 53. He just impressed the hell out of me.
Yeah. He got my game ball 2 out of the 3 games. And I'll tell you what, back to what you were saying about the radio, isn't it nice that the most controversial thing they can think to talk about is our 5th or 6th cornerback?
Sure, absolutely. No, you're 100% right about that.
That's nice.
Like moving on to the practice squad, John, I think you said it. They brought everybody back. Except for Moreland.
And Montez.
Yeah, but so the whole NFL, there's only like 20 signed waiver or 20 waiver claims. All right. Does it say anything that none of our players got picked up? And that's including
for everybody
Jimmy
else.
Moreland.
The same thing it says for everybody else. And the COVID thing is real, and nobody's going to say so. But
Yep,
if every one of
you're
these
100%
players is
right.
really like treated like they have the plague, maybe it's
Was
'cause people
Jimmy
are afraid they
Moreland?
have the
I wonder
plague.
if Jimmy Moreland was vaccinated. Does
I
anybody
wonder
know?
that too.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It does matter. And, as much as everybody's going to bitch about it and make it political, these guys are thinking from in terms of practicality. And Urban Meyer is going to learn that this ain't college and you just can't say whatever the hell you want, even though that's exactly what you're thinking.
Again, no one was there. No one was there in that office when Ron Rivera spoke to Moreland about the reasoning for being cut. And believe me, I tried all day yesterday to kick up the mud to find out why this man got cut, just because, it was people were surprised about it. So I figured, why not? Boy, oh boy, the things I was told.
This guy keeps calling me and telling me he's an ambassador.
Yeah, no, not that far, but there is no information. I basically got told, get my liability ass out of here, we cannot discuss. So I definitely think on that we cannot discuss means that there is more to it than obviously what is being told.
Yeah.
And with somebody with skills like a Jimmy Moreland, there are teams out there that could keep him as a third or fourth corner, because he is not a liability when he's on the field. Yeah, he's not perfect, but he's better more than he's not.
Yeah, he is scrappy, and
he makes a nuisance of
he
himself.
plays hard. He does. I forget who said it, but St. Juice, his play, how he did in training camp, and I think it's just shocked a lot of us. When he was drafted, a lot of people were like, well, who the hell is this guy?
It didn't surprise the coaches. They knew. That's why they picked him.
Yeah,
They-
but
they get-
no
yeah.
one else
Thumbs up
saw
to our
that.
scouts.
Nobody knew who this guy was.
Yeah.
No.
All thumbs up to our scouts.
When you got him playing as well as he did in camp, was able to move Fuller back to the position where he belongs, in my opinion. And now hopefully WJ3, get him back on the field. That's going to be a pretty damn good cornerback group, if I may say so.
Especially,
I'm on a college football
3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on a college football podcast, and we cover everybody from East Coast to West Coast. Ben St. Juice was not a name we ever mentioned.
Yeah.
And to watch him lock up Terry McLaurin in training camp, I'm like, dude, who is this guy?
He's like, he's got arms that are like octopus. So what exactly is Jimmy Moreland's injury? I haven't managed to see
I think I heard it was
is.
his knee, like a bone bruise or something like that.
Bone
Yeah,
bruise.
all I
Is
heard
that
was
like
bruise
Joe
of some
Gibbs
sort.
and his old blood disorder when he used to hide quarterbacks from? John knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
These young boys, they don't know nothing.
No, I've heard about that before.
The
All right,
blood
look,
disorders.
do you think Ron Rivera, are we done? Are we done? Obviously, we picked up David Mayo after we wait, and we brought him to the back to the active roster. That linebacker room is still weak. And Ron did have a press conference today. Did anybody get a chance to listen to it or watch it?
No.
He said
apparently he said a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he said something at the end. It's very interesting, and a lot of people on some of these the retweet threads that we have were saying something about quarterback. That there's going to be an announcement, which is totally not the case. But there could be a move coming pretty soon.
I heard they were interested in this Barcavius, whatever his name is, that Miami cut.
Oh, Bernard
McKinney.
Bernard
McKinney, Barcavius, Bernard.
Boy, you really destroyed that name.
Come on, go.
Well, the rumor has it that Washington and 2 other teams were pretty aggressive talking to his agent. I haven't heard what is.
Yeah, I heard that today too.
But
there was a Barcavius. Sorry,
was there?
Barcavius.
Mingo.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, McKinney had 3 good seasons in Houston, 100 plus season tackles, made the Pro Bowl in 2018. I mean, some people are saying he's just a better Bostic. I mean, he could start
that's
in
not
places.
saying much.
That's our best guy.
But I mean, when you sign a David Mayo, who I don't want to ever see on the field, I mean, why do we get that except nothing but depth?
Because of position flex,
and he
plays
special
teams.
He
Don't
plays
say
special
position
teams,
flex anymore.
He can see. You're right, because you know what? Okay, position flex means you can play a couple of different positions, but if you play one of them badly, then you're not.
Oh, now you're frozen, John.
I'm versatile.
There you go. Shit. No, you're good now. You're good now.
I'm versatile, right? If the shit hits the fan, we're mid-flight, I can fly the plane, but I will inevitably crash that motherfucker and we're all going to die. So am I versatile or not? No.
No.
Versatile and useful are two different things.
Going back to Appy,
plug him in out there, but he can't play.
The fact of the matter is, unless we have some devastating injuries, he's not going to see the field on defense. I think we can safely say that.
No.
We need to get a good fourth linebacker. I love Khalid Hudson. I think he is going to be a good linebacker.
He's still not there yet.
He still plays unsure right now.
He's not there yet.
He's not making good decisions. He's not scraping as well as he should be. We need that person behind Davis, Holcomb, and Bostic. Actually, we need somebody above Bostic. But in Ron we trust. I mean, he's a linebacker. He knows that position better than I do. I was a tight end, so what the hell do I know?
I'm still worried about that position. And we saw that KJ Wright got signed by the Raiders a couple hours ago.
He was my number one choice.
Yeah, no, I think he is the best linebacker that was out there on the market.
What was his pay?
Yeah, that was the issue.
I don't.
He's like a 9-year vet, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think it was shown. I mean, the pay might be out there by now, but last time I saw,
I think the reports is he was wanting 9-10 million. So
yeah, that's a little much. But we'll see what happens. The coaches are a lot smarter than us. That's for sure. We can argue all we want on social media, but that doesn't mean that we are right.
Hell no.
Well, you also got to think like this too. I mean, this is year 2 of Ron Rivera, right? So before we came into this season, there were a ton of holes. There's going to be holes. Sure. Unfortunately for us, the linebacker position, there is still a need for there, right?
Yeah.
So we're not going to have it all solved this year. And if people think that we're going to have it solved before week 1 starts, it's not happening, right? It is going to translate into this season, right? And we're going to hurt in certain areas, and that's just the way it is. But again, we're going to be moving forward. We're going to do the same process the next, season. The group is only going to continue to get stronger. We're going to stay younger. We're going to figure out the contract situation. So again, this is not a season where any fan should be expecting Super Bowl. We should be hoping that there's a possibility, because, why fan unless you don't believe that your team can make it? Usually with us, though, in the past years, we know by week 6 that there's no shot. Here, at least we go a little bit further, into the season. I do feel that we're going to be battling it in the division. I'm tired of hearing people say that, the division sucks. Doesn't matter. We finished the season last year 7-9, right?
Yeah.
So
once you're in the tournament, it doesn't matter.
Right. So
we were 1 down away from beating Brady.
Right.
That's right.
So the expectation level from fans is, can we meet a little bit above than what we did last season? If we did that, then the entire season is a successful season, and then we're going to, continue to grow. So if everyone is expecting all of these holes to be filled, it's just not going to happen. And
remember, fans are stupid. Remember, fans are stupid. Yeah. They are, and they
including
do
myself.
Watch. Week 1, Fitzpatrick rolls out, throws a ball, and it hits the dirt. Oh my God! How many people think we're going to the Super Bowl? It's all over. You watch.
It's my fault. It's my fault. I gave you false hope so many years.
Your fault.
But the one thing I'm excited about, talking about as a fan, I've been a fan since '76. Billy Kilmer and John Riggins back when he first started from the Jets. So I'm excited more than I have been, because we've got 7 first-round picks on defense.
We do.
We have, and then we have St. Juice and some other people that are going to. The defense is going to be stout, and
it's the identity of the team. Yeah,
our offense has the chance, has the possibility to be fast and successful. Curtis Samuel is still working on the side field.
I was going to get to him next. But go ahead, finish your point.
We have all of these pieces to the puzzle that might be, but I'm still happy with this defense. And as a fan, we are going to be better than last year. And I think, to Keith's point, if we're better than last year, that's a win, means we're moving in the right direction. And when people are talking about our 7th string cornerback now, instead of who's our number 1 quarterback, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I honestly believe we're going to be better than that, than we were last year, even if it doesn't necessarily show it in the stats. What Keith was saying was spot on. You can't expect every hole to be filled now. It's not going to happen. But you see that the building blocks are in place, and as time goes on, it's going to get filled. Look, we're I think a decent starting linebacker away from having close to an elite defense. I think our front 4 is elite, and our back 7 is, or our back 5 is shaping up to be really, really good. I love the way that Collins has come back from his injury. You have Cam Curl. You have Benjamin St. Juice, a rookie that's hopefully going to come out on fire. Fuller. I mean, that's a pretty damn good backfield right there. Go ahead, John.
They've got to cover those first 6 yards. That's where they get beat because their linebackers have such a hard time with freaking guys coming out of the backfield and all that sort of thing. I saw a little bit of that in the preseason when teams wanted to really take our defensive line out. Of course, game 3 didn't make any difference, but they rolled out, they moved the ball outside, and they started these little dinky passes. And they go for 7 or 8 yards. So we got to get up on that. But if anybody tries to go straight back to pass, and they're going to have a damned hard time. And our secondary is going to benefit from our defensive line mauling the shit out of everybody.
And
show, my
Jack
mauling the fuck out of everybody.
Jack Del Rio is wanting to play more man coverage as well, because we know that teams are going to get the ball out fast. They're not going to want to sit back in the pocket, and it's just, you just can't do that with our defensive line, especially with Chase and Sweat coming off the end. If you're an offensive coordinator and thinking that you're going to be doing that all day, you're just fucking stupid and should get fucking fired right then and there.
No, don't fire him. Let him get through the game. We'll kick the shit out of him.
Go ahead. The move that Ron did with moving Davis out to Will and moving Bostic to Mike, I think it's going to allow Davis to scrape sideline to sideline better than Mike, because he was overthinking. He was slow to the hole.
Mike is in an easy position to learn, especially for a rookie. I mean, Davis eventually will be our Mike linebacker, as he should be, but he needs to get his feet wet a little bit first, because you definitely saw that hesitation and that thinking way too much when he was on the field.
But having Holcomb and Davis on those corners will help some of those flat passes. Hopefully we'll be able to cover some of those guys in space.
I'm also going to throw a bold prediction, and I think that Bostic's going to improve this season.
I hope so.
It ain't that difficult, You're in the basement, your feet are wet.
Much worse.
The bar so low.
That's why I said that.
That's right.
You can only go up from here.
Now, J-Dub mentioned him a minute ago, but Curtis Samuel is still working off to the sideline. How concerned are we? Keith, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be. Are we in panic mode? Should we jump a ledge yet? No, we shouldn't. But you have to be concerned.
He's been out since like July or June 1st.
I haven't seen anything from this guy
at all.
All I've seen is highlights from the Panthers. Yep. So until then, I don't really want to hear about Curtis Samuel until he's out on the field. I don't want to hear how good he is. I don't want to hear any of that. That's all I've heard this entire offseason since the time that we signed him. I don't want to see Panther highlights anymore. I want to see highlights with him with this team. Yeah. And as of right now, we're not seeing that, and we're not going to see it. We don't know when we're going to see it. So, again, that was a signing where I said, temper your expectations to begin with. It's not like this guy was wearing a Hall of Fame jacket before he came onto this team.
That's true.
Right? But and if you take a look at the receiving core that we had last season, anyone was an upgrade at this point.
That's absolutely right.
So to see people excited for a speedy guy like himself to join this team, absolutely, there's a huge upside to that. But again, you're only as good as you are if you're on the field, and I haven't seen anything from him yet. So yeah, absolutely, everyone should be concerned.
What I'm grateful for is Dyami Brown getting all the work that he was able to get with him off the field, because we're going to need him, especially if he's still hobbled by this growing injury.
I'm also thinking that that's the only reason why we're not calling code red on Curtis Samuel.
Yeah. Yeah,
with
true.
the play of Dyami Brown and Humphreys being the security blanket, and the way Dax Milne came on in the preseason. I'm worried about Curtis, but with all of those people on the staff,
we still have weapons.
Yes.
But we also need to temper our expectations on Dyami Brown as well, too. Everyone's already putting him in Terry McLaurin status as a rookie, and we need to be real careful with that. This team has truly not been that successful at progressing rookie wide receivers. Terry McLaurin is one of the first ones in a long time that has come out and has given the production that he's given. And people will say that he is in that elite category because
no, he's not yet. Sorry.
No, he's not in the elite category, but people are thinking that he can or will be because of his production with the horrendous quarterback usage that we had last season. That carousel, was a huge problem, yet he was still getting production. So people see a huge upside with Fitzpatrick under center and, McLaurin obviously as our, wide receiver one. But, we need to temper these expectations because, again, we have, camp heroes and we have preseason heroes. I want to see weekly season heroes.
John?
Dyami Brown just looks it, man. When he's playing, I get it, it's preseason, but when you see him out there one-on-one with a guy, getting that back shoulder fade where he goes up higher than the guy, takes the ball out of the air and muscles it away from the dude, I think he's got the ability to go out there if Samuel isn't able to go and play just as well. Because wide receiver these days and a lot of offensive positions these days, it's not like it used to be where, the third year the light comes on. These guys are ready right out of college now. Yeah, a lot of them. And he looks to be ready. I mean, he's going to have some problems running routes. I'm sure he's probably going to have some problems here and there with this and that. He's a rookie, but I'm not terribly worried. And I'm not even worried about Samuel either. I mean, they don't seem to be in panic mode about it. And if they're not in panic mode right now, I'm not going to be in panic mode.
But I think people need to be careful and stop doing the comparison thing.
Yep.
But they're fans, and fans are what?
Stupid. Right. Well, I'm just here to make that announcement. Not only are you stupid, but stop comparing them to Gary Clark, Art Monk, and Ricky Sanders. That's got to stop. I've seen that way too many times. Super dumb. We haven't seen anything from Brown during the season. Not his fault, obviously. Again, Curtis Samuel, it hasn't even been out there. And
he hasn't put on pads yet.
We're comparing them to that group of people. And what's funny is a lot of the people that are saying it are the younger generation that really didn't even see those three play.
Mm-hmm. This is more like Michael Westbrook, Albert Connell. This is what this is.
Exactly.
I'm not.
And they did all right the 1 year Westbrook wasn't hurt.
I'm here to tell you, stop being stupid, at least on that.
Please.
Well, you were talking about John about having the video from Dyami Brown. Like, I live in North Carolina. I've watched him play with the Tar Heels for several years. I know exactly what he brings to the table. But those videos of the contested catches and things, we saw the same thing out of AGG coming out of college. And you see how that was if
he doesn't have the speed. AGG ain't got the speed that.
But what I'm saying is, that particular thing we need. That's what I agree with Keith. We need to temper our expectations because we haven't seen him do it yet when it counted. Now, if he comes in week one and he goes up and blows up the Chargers for like 230 and 3, then we might think he's that person. But Drew Terrell, wide receivers coach, said that Dyami Brown is one of the best young receivers he's ever coached. Yeah. So, do I think he's going to be great? Yes. Do I think he's great now? No.
Well, I'm going to speak representing the stupid fans, and I'm just going to say he's a Hall of Famer, and we're going to the Super Bowl.
I'm not necessarily panicked about Curtis Samuel yet. But what keeps popping to my mind a little bit is Paul Richardson just creeps in just a touch, and that's a little concerning.
Richardson didn't have the same skill set.
No, he doesn't. But Richardson never really got on the fucking field because he was always injured.
He was that before we signed him, though. He was fucking hurt all the time.
But one of the reasons I'm not worried about Samuel is that he knows Scott Turner's offense. So when he comes back, that level of comfort is going to immediately help him get better faster.
It was just hopefully I was hoping that Fitzpatrick and Samuel will get that connection before they got on the field. We'll see. Hey, week one's right around the corner. And now, guys, 1 week from today, there's going to be NFL football. Cowboys, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
How
Tampa's
exciting
gonna
is that?
stomp 'em. Tampa's gonna stomp.
Well,
'em.
I'm not going to watch that game just because it's the Cowgirls, but it's exciting that it's coming
Oh,
back.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it
will.
because it's Cowgirls, and I know they're gonna lose. So
Right.
you know Tom Brady's gonna want to come out firing in all cylinders. And they announced today that they are 100% vaccinated.
Yep, I saw that.
The Bucks or the Cowboys?
The Bucks.
Bucks.
Oh, okay.
And it was funny. The first preseason game the Cowboys ran, Micah Parsons recovered a fumble that he didn't even create.
And I saw it dropped to him.
And I saw a Cowboys fan post, "We're going to the Super Bowl," and I'm like, "Oh,
Look at that.
God!"
I need to catch up on Hard Knocks.
Fans are stupid is kind of universal.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
that's
All
true.
fan
We're
base.
not the
It's
only
okay.
we're not the only stupid fan base.
It's okay. I'm sure another Cowboy pointed to Micah where that ball was and go grab it.
It's right there. Go get it.
I mean, that's what they had to do in college. You didn't hear that from me.
All right, changing gears a little bit. I want to talk about pressure, and I kind of stole this topic from yesterday's radio show, one of the radio shows, Sports Talk Radios. Who has the most pressure coming into the season? It could be a player itself. It could be a coach, a GM, the fucking owner. Keith, I'm going to start with you. Who's got the most pressure?
I don't think anybody does,
No?
to be honest.
Wow.
Again, when you're talking coaching staff, you're talking year 2. What pressure do you have? You're not on a hot seat. The only pressure that Scott Turner has is to make sure that he's calling good plays. But not every play is going to be a good call. And, you're going to have fans that think one way or think another. I don't necessarily think that there is any pressure. I do believe that the one person that should hold some pressure would be our kicker, because he's highly inaccurate and
Can't be trusted.
And that's a problem. So if there is any pressure, it would be on the kicker, but everyone else I feel like are just so young. I think maybe Landon Collins has a little bit of pressure on him as well. Okay. So I'll even go for that, but major pressure, I don't see it yet, only because it's year 2. If we were talking year 4, year 5 of this coaching staff, I would then say, and we were producing the same results that we've been producing every single season, yeah, then we're talking something different. But year 2, I don't think there should be any pressure on anyone at this point. I think that the team collectively needs to go out, and it's not a certain individual that causes a win or loss. It's an entire team. So I don't think our quarterback's going to hold any pressure, because the man basically after this season can be like, all right, I'm done, I'm out. Like what pressure is there for him? So, and to me, the quarterback is the most important person on the team. So if your quarterback's not really going to be held to any pressure, how are you going to hold pressure to anyone else?
Yeah, the way that the NFL is not for long. It's as far as coaching, I think there can be some pressure that's mounted on offense and defensive quarters. Ryan Safer, he's got a few years,
but there's no one that's going to get fired. They're not firing Del Rio.
If Scott Turner calls shitty play calls, you don't think he's going to get fired? I do.
Not in year 2.
I do.
Year 2? No way.
If he doesn't call the right plays at the right time, absolutely. Teams go through assistant coaches like freaking clockwork.
Coordinators, though.
Listen, his
it
play
don't
calling,
matter.
If his play calling was costing several games,
he's
in
got
the
pressure.
season,
The fan pressure is going to be put on the fans, and you
I
got
don't care
Daniel
about
Snyder.
fans.
Yeah.
Who cares about
fans are
No,
stupid.
no.
They'll start
You don't
pressure
have
the second
Daniel
other
Fans
throws
pay
an
for
incomplete
tickets. They
pass.
want
First of
people-
all, fuck
Yeah,
the
but
fans.
that doesn't
Okay,
matter.
the fans don't have a say
That's
so.
where you're wrong.
They better
That's
not.
where
They
you're
The
better
wrong.
fans
not.
don't
'Cause
have
if
a
they
say so
lose-
in shit.
If they lose, fans are not going to want to buy tickets. Now
Oh,
they absolutely have talent on their team to go win. Daniel Snyder's not going to fucking put up with fucking a shitty coordinator, which
Daniel Snyder's on vacation. Let's
it
talk
don't
about
make a difference.
Tanya.
He still fucking runs
It's
the
Tanya
team.
Snyder,
And
not
you think
Daniel
if anybody thinks otherwise, go get your head checked, because he still writes the checks around here.
Scott Turner would have to call so many bad plays to where it
The jury is
resulted
out
in
on
loss.
Scott Turner.
No,
Absolutely.
I don't think so.
I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna jump in a little bit.
In year
here.
2,
Absolutely. Fuck
oh,
yeah, man.
stop it.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna
Not in
how
year
much-
It's
two.
crazy not
They
to think
held
so.
on to Jay
Go ahead, John.
Gruden
Go
for
ahead, John.
5 years.
Go ahead, John.
How much of this is Scott Turner's offense, and how much of it is we didn't have a damn quarterback that could run
Well,
it?
that's
Like,
the
check
point
down
right now.
Jesus.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
So, I mean, I don't mean as a former player, as a former tight end offensive lineman, Scott Turner's, well, the play calling frustrated me last year, but I didn't blame Scott Turner. I blamed the stupid quarterbacks that could not run their offense. If Dwayne Haskins could overthrow his mother. If just I don't understand.
No, you're 100%
I-
right.
So
You're
I blame
absolutely
the
100% right.
people in his system. Now this year, does he
It's
feel
different
pressure this year?
It's different now that he
again,
has
I disagree.
a competent quarterback.
Well, come in and you said the fans are a problem. Tanya Snyder didn't give a damn if I like Scott Turner's play calls or not. It's Ron Rivera who matters, and Ron Rivera is going to keep Scott Turner regardless of how.
And
our
Ron
offense
Rivera
goes.
is going to have pressure on him.
Maybe
to
next year.
perform, because if they're
Maybe
not
next
gonna
year.
if they're not going to perform, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point of having and going to play games is trying to win and trying to build. If you're not going to have someone that can actually call plays, and same goes with Fitzpatrick. There's absolutely pressure on him because he even said it. This is the best situation that he's ever come in. If he comes in and stinks it up the joint, absolutely there's pressure. If you think there's not, you're crazy.
Well, they'd have to go
crazy.
something like 0-6 or something like that. For
They
them to
held
really
on
start
to
to
Jay
think they're gonna make those
Gruden
big
for
changes.
5 years.
Jay
He was
Gruden
that-
ain't here no
and
more.
and he got held on because this idiot had to prove to people that he wouldn't fire him after 2.
because
But
he
they
always
couldn't
fires
find
guys
someone
after
else to
2.
take the job.
If outside of D-Hop to me is the person on this team whose seat is on fire.
Yeah.
Outside of D-Hop,
Name's not.
the
Sure.
only
I'm not.
player.
Yeah, I'm not saying fight. You're absolutely right about that. I'm not saying who's on the hot seat. I'm talking about pressure to perform.
That's what I'm going to say. And then the other person under pressure to perform is Fitzpatrick. And I'll tell you why.
I think
I
so
wore the
too.
shirt in Jesse's honor. The Heineke Hive is going to be very
Absolutely
loud
right.
They don't
if
listen to
if
that.
Fitzpatrick
They don't
comes
care.
out and he goes a buck
You hear the
three with
stands
4
booing
interceptions
and
against
everybody
the Chargers. I'm just
calling
saying.
for Heineke. You had the team sees Fitzpatrick stinking it up. Of course, man. Of course there is. That's why
Fitzpatrick ain't going to care if he gets
Nope.
benched.
No,
the
he's
crowd
not
is going to
gonna
be
care, but
chanting,
he's
"We
still-
want Heineke, we want Heineke," and Ron
Well,
Rivera's
well-
going to go say, "Heineke, go up there and see what the fuck
That's
they
not,
want."
He's got a
that's
point.
not
He's
the
got a point.
That's not the point of this. It's pressure to perform. Okay,
But Keith's
perform
got a point.
I think
well.
I agree with Keith 100%. I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure on anybody. I mean, coordinators, like I said, if it's 0-6, they're going to be making some changes. But other than that, he's probably safe for the year. Pressure, I think everybody with reason, and I'm not talking about fans here because fans are stupid, is that they recognize the potential of this team is not Super Bowl ready. It's probably not conference championship ready. It's let's go try to win a playoff game ready. And I think people are going to be, I wouldn't say forgiving, because if we're able to do that through this schedule, that's pretty damn good.
And I want to take a step back because
If
Keith
we
actually
go
proved
if
me
we
wrong.
go 5-12 or 6-11.
Oh yeah, then heads are going to roll.
Do you think heads are going to roll? Whether
Man,
it could be
I would
defense
chop
or,
them
or
off
offense.
myself.
I think you start talking in year 3 that there's a hot seat. Yeah.
I'm not talking about Rivera. I think Rivera's safe for a while because
But my hot seat is going with Scott Turner. If we're not performing, if the offense is not at the level that it was last year, if not better, then
it's got to be better.
It's gotta be better.
Well, it's got to be better. And so,
yes.
yes. So to answer your question, if you're talking about just feeling pressure, yeah, but I don't think it's any different pressure than anyone on that coaching staff would be
Or any
feeling
other team.
on a normal basis, or anyone on any normal team.
Then let me ask you this.
Normal team.
Let me ask you this.
You can
Talking about
thank me
Scott
for
Turner and
that,
the offense.
sorry.
Our offense is patchwork right now. Our offense is,
But I think it's
guys,
better,
you know,
a lot better than what it was last year.
better than what it was.
Sure.
But if we don't win, and if our defense, our elite defense, does not perform, does Jack
that's
Del
the key.
Rio go on the hot seat before Scott Turner?
That's a good key because the defense is expected to carry us.
And someone said
if we
that
can get
actually,
27
the same
points
thing
per
on
game.
the radio yesterday. Yeah, and that's a very interesting point. If say your offense is like ranked 17, 18, somewhere around there, and your defense is also ranked like 15, 16.
Let's see what injuries have to do with it.
That's also
because
true.
that's a huge
lot
key
has
for
a
any
lot
team.
has to play into it. But I think we're going to see a little bit of your regression, a touch in the defense, only because of who we're playing. We're playing some top-notch teams. So we were ranked 2, 3, 4 last year, somewhere out there. We might be ranked like 6 or 7 this year, but that's okay. Especially with the teams, especially with the teams that we're playing. We got to see the offense that was ranked 31st. We need to be in the very low 20s or high teens. Otherwise, we brought in more weapons. We have hopefully a better offensive line. We have a rookie running or a running back coming off of a really good rookie year. We got Terry another year older. We got Curtis Samuel. We got Adam Humphries. We got Logan Thomas another year in the system. I think if this offense doesn't get extremely better, top 20, I think there's going to be some problems.
Well,
top 20 is not a very high bar to put, but that's good.
It's
that's
not.
all
We were
right.
31 last year. So.
That's how we're built to win, though. We're built to win on defense. If we can score 27, we should win plenty of games.
I think it was we got to score 24 points a game.
So
minimum,
to have a chance, to have
not
a
against
chance,
and not against the murderers row.
And that's what a lot of people
35.
are afraid of, and that's why I'm thinking our defensive stats or rankings are going to come back just a little bit because of that murderous row. Go ahead, Keith.
What if they don't?
There's 2 variables. Okay, you have a coach who comes to the podium who gives a line of bullshit to the fans, right? We're good. We're of course in it to go to the Super Bowl. Then there's behind closed doors in their coaching office where there's realities, right? Those realities are probably written down, okay? And their season is measured by many different things. And so they, in their minds, have a reality of expectations. They're going to set the bar, obviously, to exceed the bar. But in their minds, they do have how they're going to measure themselves, measure each other, hold each other accountable, right? Sure. And then you're going to start talking about hot seats, right? But even in year 3, you're still not going to see any firings, right? Because part of the problem with this team, which is why we held on to Jay Gruden, like someone said earlier,
had to prove to other coaches that he would do it.
Correct. Patience. Okay,
I fucked this whole team.
There was never any patience. So now if we want to hold on tight to the patience aspect, you're not going to truly be talking about getting rid of anyone until at least potentially year 4 of this regime. And I'm not talking Ron Rivera. I'm talking
I don't think Ron Rivera
I could see turnover after this season. Not with Rivera, but it's some of the staff.
Yeah, Ron Rivera is safe. I think he's safe
if things perform horribly.
Yeah. Other guys might move on, go someplace else.
I mean,
but I'm talking about
what
hot seats.
A lot of people are talking.
I don't
about
think we
Turner,
have any.
And I personally like Turner. Some of the stuff that I've seen last year that he did was very well, and he curtailed the offense for a hop along, and then our quarterback situation was just so horrible. So I'm giving him this year to show me something, and other people are not.
For Turner, you got to give him the caveat that he has a starting quarterback that can throw the ball more than 15 fucking yards.
Yeah.
So we're doing great there, and at least he can say, "Hey, I could open up this whole other 2/3 of the playbook and use it."
I honestly believe that Turner and Fitzpatrick are going to go hand in hand as how this offense is going to go this season. Like, and seriously, it's going to be them two right there. Go ahead.
That's why I got so frustrated last year with 3rd and 18, and we're throwing 2 yards into the. I'm like, I hated that. I was literally screaming, throw stuff at
and
my
that's
TV.
why a lot of people are blaming that on Turner, which I'm not yet. If I see that shit this year,
we didn't have a quarterback that could get the ball down the field. That was,
and we had one wide receiver that was drafted all year. So we got Dontrell Inman down there trying to get open. It's just not going to fucking happen.
And this is why I say I don't necessarily. Exactly. This is why I don't say that Scott Turner necessarily has to fill this immediate pressure, because I think everybody understood the situation that he was in last season, and in my opinion, that ain't a fair shake for an offensive coordinator.
No, it's definitely not.
No, not at all.
So to me, I don't even think you count that. I think that was preseason.
Yeah, this right here, this year 1. for me with Scott Turner he's got a clean slate in my eyes. I want to see what he does. Now we got a little bit more weapons. We got better weapons. We have a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field, and things are starting to come together on the offense. But they just have to perform.
And
Look,
what people forget,
don't put any stock in this, but the people that I talk to about fantasy football, because I do love to play it, they think Antonio Gibson is going to have the biggest breakout year of anybody. I'm not going to tell them otherwise, but
bro, fantasy football, I don't touch a single Washington football team, Redskins through my history. They were just too unpredictable. You might get lucky with a running back here and there.
I've been burned by Jordan Reed so many times because you always thought, but when he was on the field, he was so goddamn good. But I'd fucking draft him every year. But just get burned
about Gibby.
Injuries.
The thing about Gibby is that our offensive line is so much better this year. The way Sam Cosmi is just blown up.
Let's see.
And I think they're going to be creating more holes for him. I think he's a year older. I think Randy Jordan is doing a really good job with him as a running back coach. I'm really excited to see what Jarrett Patterson can do. Since he's now basically going to be our third down back since we cut Peyton Barber.
He's getting some national media love today.
He is, but you're not going to see him on the field much, I don't think. I think McKissick's going to handle your third down duties.
The hammer.
Personally, I'm worried about the offensive line. I need to see more of it before I pass judgment. And that's one concern that I had. Probably the biggest concern that I have on offense is because you didn't see a whole bunch of it in the preseason. And what we did see was okay, but you have two new ends. Okay, that's and your right tackle is a rookie. But one plus thing, they were going up against the stalwart defensive line all off season long, so that's only going to help.
Well, Cosmi looked stupid in Richmond, but when they went back to Ashburn, Cosmi was locking up Sweat on a daily.
Yeah,
right.
And those of you who are familiar with Charles Leno Jr., the way he has revolutionized and just changed the culture of that room. He's come in and he's already plugging into the community. He's already doing great things around there. I love Leno Jr. and what he's done there. I think
he's a Hog Farmer supporter now.
You see my toboggan there. But yeah, I think Leno and Cosmi on the ends, we're going to be okay. And I think that having Sheriff Rouillet and Schweitzer in the middle, I think we're going to be good. I think we'll be fine.
You say that you want to see more of them, and you used to be able to see more of them, especially in the white pants. But then they made them sew in that little modesty strip that they have now, and you can't see nearly as much of them. But am I the only one that gets bothered that they make this modesty strip looks like some kind of pair of stripper panties on these guys while they're all bent over on the line? I must be the only one that notices.
You're the only one I can think of that would even think of
that. Here's the thing, though. Now that I've said it, you will, and you're going to see it, and you're never not going to see it again.
I mean, even playing ball for as long as I did, I never worried about a courtesy strip in the pants. I don't think I've ever thought about it that way.
That's because
I ever thought about it that way.
Television and the FCC always listen to the prudes, the people that call up. I don't want to see those boys underpants. That's just gross. And then they do these kinds of stupid things. Yeah, exactly. Now Keith is going to watch for it.
I think he's already looking at YouTube
videos. Week 1, Red Zone lot. Come get yourself a thank you hot dog.
Sausage party for Keith.
Yeah. No, nothing prepared.
Okay.
But again, if you're listening, thanks to everyone who's supported the Hog Farmers. Again, come hang out week 1, throwing down a nice little tailgate, hot dogs, New Jersey pork roll, or others call it Taylor ham. Either way, just going to have a good time. Again, this is just a thank you. Donations are not required, but they are welcomed. Absolutely welcomed.
Sure.
And John, what's their website?
hogfarmerscharity.org, and it is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, so everybody go over there and give at least $20. At least $20.
And I went on the website and bought that nice toboggan right there. So they're really nice to have. There's hats and shirts and all sorts of ways to support.
It looks cozy.
So John, what the hell's a toboggan?
You don't know what a toboggan is?
Toboggan.
No.
It's a sled.
What the fuck is a toboggan?
Toboggan. You put on your head with a little fuzzy bow. That's a toboggan.
You northerners.
So a beanie.
Toboggan.
No, it's a beanie.
A toboggan?
I'm a southerner. It's a toboggan.
You're not
talking
even
in northern.
A toboggan is a sled.
You're like
right?
central.
No, a toboggan is a hat.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse.
What?
A sled is a sled.
Yes.
From 1960? I mean, did Billy Kilmer wear?
Toboggan is a flat.
That's when I was born. They were toboggans back then.
Jesus, the different generations on this show.
I don't call them toboggans no more, but it's toboggan.
I used to have to take a toboggan to school.
That's going to be
Uphill
the
both
name of the
ways.
podcast is toboggan.
Are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about any darlings on the team?
Yes, please.
You got darlings.
Samus Reyes, man. I'm totally excited. I know he had the international program, but literally the guy had never played a football game before.
I know.
And what he's done, because I played tight end, and to see what he's done and the way he's worked, I'm very happy he's on the team. He probably will very rarely see the field, but I'm very happy that he made the 53.
He's a waste of roster spot, but it's a good story.
They don't want to risk him on the squad. He can be poached.
Yeah. But I will say this. I think the future is bright for that young man.
Yep. He's one of the best blocking tight ends we have on the team. He was literally moving people.
Yeah.
Like moving people.
Well, we got to hold our expectations with him. I give it year 3, year 4 is when you're going to need to look for him to make that jump.
But with Logan and Bates on the field, yeah, Samus is going to be a third option.
Because we still kept Ricky Seals-Jones too. So you would have to expect that Samus Reyes is going to be one of your inactives on Sundays.
Yeah,
most likely.
I love the story.
Goal lines.
I love the story of Samus. I hope it all works out. Like I said, if he becomes, a blocking tight end, dude is big and physical. Again, give it a couple years. Hopefully there's something there. Obviously, the coaching staff seen something, to keep him. The guy is super excited to have made this team, so it's a huge accomplishment. Got nothing bad to say about it, but again, tempering those expectations of what we have there.
Absolutely.
I wish they
almost every week.
Yeah, I wish they would have.
I still want to talk about him though.
Yeah, guys live in dreams that other people will never even be able to
especially
have.
From where he came from and just barely scraping by, having to
so humble about it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just wish they could have snuck him on the practice squad. I mean, I had him on the 53. I think
got to protect him. He's there.
He would be poached in a heartbeat.
He'll be inactive most of the time. And if he's not, he'll be in on goal line, and that'll be cool.
Jared Patterson too. Great story. I think we'll see a little bit more out of him.
He looked bad that third game though.
He looked like he had the yips, nervous.
Yeah. He had some stone hands. But for being at the game, Allen was firing the ball to him. Like it seems like they're having a hot.
Yeah, his blocking was good.
Yeah,
Torrey McTyer would be my darling of the preseason.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I'm glad he made the team. I'm glad he made the team because last week I checked the depth chart and he was behind Apke as a cornerback. I'm thinking, oh God, no, you can't take him and leave McTyer off. No freaking way. I'll accept Jimmy Moreland.
I was worried.
That dude's played well.
I was worried about the concussion protocol keeping him off the 53. That was what I was worried about when Torrey left with concussion.
That you can still be injured and still get on the 53. They wouldn't do that. So concussions usually a week, maybe 2 week injury. Before we go,
Clinton Portis 6-month-long concussions.
Before we go, I want to give a shout out to Sean Parks. It's FL Skins fan for life. He has set up a GoFundMe for a boy named Dallas. They're actually his friends. His mom and dad, Lindsay and James, have a 3-year-old. Dallas is battling a rare genetic disorder, TBCK. He's one of 40 kids in the world that has this disorder. Please go to his GoFundMe page if you have any questions on how to get a hold of Sean and help them out as well. His Twitter handle is FL Skins Fan, the number 4 life. Florida Skins Fan for life. Go ahead, Keith. You're going to say something?
Yeah, I want to talk about this for a quick minute. First of all, Jesse, I appreciate you even mentioning that. Sean reached out to me about a month ago, and I actually talked to him on the phone for about an hour, and I kind of learned a lesson from that point forward. He reached out and asked for my help with this, and I just had so much other things going on, and I felt like I failed him because I did, talk to him and told him that I would get with some of the other podcasts and see if we can all join together and try to help raise money. It's very difficult for me at this point, because if I'm focused on raising money for the Hog Farmers Foundation, it's hard to then say, hey, can you also chip in? It's tough digging in people's wallets.
Yeah.
And
I hate it.
where I made a mistake in
But
this
you gotta
whole
do
thing,
that.
well, you do. And where I made the mistake though is telling him, yes, I'll do it, and then not following through. I've talked to him, personally, and he never took it any other way. So I definitely appreciate that. But the lesson for me was learned is I want to help everyone as much as I can. But at the same time, I also have to understand that, I'm not a miracle worker.
Yeah.
And
Everybody's got limitations in what
Yeah.
they can do.
Correct. And I have not learned those limitations until this. So I reached out to him, and I'm happy that the Burgundy Zone and some other folks have jumped in to help support him, because like I said, I spoke to him and heard his passion for this over the phone, and this was the first time that I talked to him. And like I said, I'm disappointed in myself that I wasn't able to push that thing forward. But with that being said, and what you didn't mention, Jesse, sorry for being long-winded about this, but he's also given away to the donors list. He'll just randomly select someone for a Joe Gibbs Hall of Fame football helmet. And
cool.
I know that this isn't
Nice.
like, oh my God, but I did have a John Riggins game used jersey card that I actually personally absolutely love. But I do know that if this can help pull in some donations as well, I would do the same thing, and I would pick a random donor and send them the card just for participating in this. I know that his goal was 5,000, and I believe he's currently at 1,500 now.
He's almost 1,600.
He's almost 1,600 now.
Yeah.
Good. So, Sean, if you're out there listening, man, I appreciate the approach that you took with me and didn't, bust me up for it. Because the one thing that I don't like to say, and I will say this a million times, I don't like to tell people yes on something and then not follow through. That's hugely disappointing. It was a lesson learned for me. But the more important thing is other people stepped up and helped him out. And that's what's important.
Mark Rippon even
I saw
put
that
out
yesterday.
there. So I thought that was really cool. Listeners, please do what you can. We always talk about the hog farmers on our podcast, and these kids, they need help, and families can only do so much. I grew up, my brother was sick, a very, very sickly kid. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. His intestines were twisted all up finally, and my parents spent months in the hospital, and the strain that put on them, I remember seeing it firsthand. I was 16, 17 years old. It's tough, man. So anything will help. So go hit up Sean on Twitter and just do what you can. The GoFundMe is on my Twitter account as well. I've retweeted it multiple times, so you can just look at my page too, or any of our pages to go find out where it's at. Anybody got anything else?
I just wanted to compliment Keith on those burgundy curtains back there.
Yes.
I don't see any gold in it though.
Hey, babe, they're complimenting the burgundy curtains that you have behind us.
They're fucking red.
I'm sorry. We're going to call them what we want. They're burgundy. So
He said, sorry. They're calling them what they want. It's burgundy.
They're older. They need some check on their glasses. I know that they're older men over
Did
there.
they just call us older?
At
Jeez.
least a couple of us are anyway.
I mean, I'm 40. I ain't there yet.
I'm
I'm
looking
a
at
man. I'm 40.
Keith's burgundy shirt, and they're a dead match. So
It does. It does.
I agree.
It kind of blends in very, very nicely.
right. And if you wanted to tell her that I use color for a living, that's fine. Because I do.
There you go. J Dub, tell
Yes.
us about your podcast you got coming up soon, man.
Hey, I'm in the planning process to kick off the full contact WFT podcast before week 1. It's going to be taken from a player standpoint instead of a fan standpoint. It's more like hopefully getting some players on the pod to talk about, player, more schemes and games and that type of stuff. And it's going to be talking about anything that has contact, whether it be not just WFT football, but anything like MMA, anything that's got contact in it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I've got 30 years of journalism experience. I'll be bringing in a whole bunch of like sideline reporters and journalists to talk about teams that we're playing that week. So it's going to be informative, and hopefully people can take something away from it at the end. It's not just going to be fandom. It's going to be fandom a little bit because, fans are stupid, but it's going to be mostly X's and O's and the whys of the world. So it should be pretty fun. Thanks a lot for having me come on and pitch it. But if you want to get, my Twitter handle is full contact WFT.
So since we're having a love session here, and I just loved on Sean for a little bit, John, I have to tell you, man, you've been one of the nicest guys I have met in such a short period of time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, not you, John.
Yeah. I should have known better.
You're questionable.
I was going to let him take the credit.
Nope. Mr. John Wood.
John Wood.
No, John, you've been one of the you've jumped on the scene. You've been nothing but humble with the podcasting group. I know that and you and I kind of spoke about this August 6th when we were, there. You felt like at first that you were out of place. Man, don't ever feel that way. I know that we were the older ones of the group, but listen, you come in and you do the things that you were doing, man. All these people have welcomed you with open arms. I know that you've reached out multiple times asking how you can help with the hog farmers. We'll be working on that. All right, because I think that there's definitely something that you can bring to the table, because I know that your heart's in it. So if I've never responded to you on that, it was nothing. It's just I don't really have a say so with the hog farmers. But man, keep up. Appreciate it. It's been a pleasure meeting you in person. Just super friendly guy, man. Super friendly.
Well, thank you. But this is my first year being a season ticket holder.
Me too.
Joe Trzynski talked me into it, and I'm like, I live 6 hours away, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm like, this is my 1 year to live
there.
it up. So I'm basically going whole hog.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's me
But
and John's we've hung out a couple times at the events and the preseason games, and Keith's right. Just kind of go off of that. Yeah, it's been a pleasure meeting you and getting to know you a little bit. And we know you got a long drive ahead, but I think we're in for a pretty fun season, with the home games coming up, tailgating and enjoying the games together. So it's definitely been a pleasure meeting your acquaintance.
Yeah,
100%.
100%.
And thanks for open arms. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
This Washington fan base is like no other anyway.
Well, we're a little wild. I'll tell you that. Well, like John said, they're stupid.
But your stupid matches my stupid. So we're okay.
Hey, I'm one of them.
We can all be stupid together.
But,
thanks for the kind words. I appreciate the help. I appreciate the chance to be here and kick it with your
Stop by and
viewers.
get a free hot dog. Okay, Keith's giving out free hot dogs.
I'll be there at 7:30, ready to rock and roll.
You're gonna be waiting. You're gonna be waiting at the gate till it's open. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get there early, but I don't know if I'm gonna get there that early. My ass likes to sleep.
I'm leaving the house at like 2 a.m., so I got nothing else to do.
Jesus, why don't you stay the night? All right, we're gonna go. We'll get that in a second. You can catch Keith at KG Skins 26. You can catch John at Bang Radio Hour. You can catch me at Jesse's 24. Hail to the team.